Discipline is this ability to hear both of the voices, but choose the bigger one. And welcome back to the Job Not Done podcast. I'm your host, Jackson Hogan. And today we are going to be talking about something that is super important, super pivotal, especially when you are trying to find yourself and find who you are, what you want to do, and what goals you want to achieve. And that is forgetting the small voices and finding clarity. If you're here, guys, you already know what this podcast is about: masculinity, discipline, and the relentless pursuit of becoming a better man, not tomorrow, not someday, today. Now, like I said, the title of today's episode: Forget the Small Voices and Find Clarity. And I really want that to sit with you for a second, because every single one of us, doesn't matter who you are, no matter how driven, no matter how disciplined, deals with the small voices in our head. I have it. I know that you do. So confronting them is the only way to deal with them. Because if you ignore them, they build over time and they create an irrational thought process in your psyche. For example, the voice will say things like, just take today off. You've already done enough. You'll start next week. You'll start on Monday. No one will notice if you quit. These voices aren't screaming at you, but it's a silent but deadly whisper, right? It's this whisper in your head that's saying these very, maybe not even super dubious things, but they are really detrimental to your success and your discipline and how you carry yourself, and all the things that matter when you are trying to achieve goals and maybe increase your relationship with somebody. So it also affects the social aspect of your life too. And these voices, they don't come at you when things are going bad. They show up when you're tired, when you're comfortable, when things are going good, and when you're alone with your own thoughts. I mean, that is the most dangerous place you can be, right? Alone with your own thoughts. And over time, if you listen to them enough, they're going to blur your vision and steal your clarity. They're going to steal that dream from you. They're going to steal that goal from you. They're going to steal that focus from you. I want you guys to be grinding and locked in every day, all day. Especially with young men, these small voices get to us a lot. Especially with what the world's telling us right now. We need to be more passive. We need to be less aggressive. It's just bullshit, right? And then that thought process becomes a cyclical daily thing, saying, "Oh, I'm not good enough. I should just not raise my hand. I should just not speak up in class. I should just not take the lead on this project. I should just not want to have a leadership mindset." Or it's, "I don't want to be an outlier. I just want to be normal." It's very dangerous, even for younger people too. It's not just men. It's mostly men. But the problem is we don't have enough leaders, and we need more leaders. So today we're going to talk about what those small voices really are and why clarity is so rare in modern life. And I already just mentioned it. But disciplined men need to learn to silence the noise and stay locked in, because at the end of the day, your job is not done. The job is not done. And clarity is what keeps you moving when motivation fades. And let's get something straight right away, guys. The small voices in the head, they are not you talking. Like biologically, they may be, but they're not your purpose. They're not your identity. And they're sure as shit not your future. They're a mix of fear, anxiety, stress, comfort seeking, past failures, social conditioning from all the bullshit you see online today about how men are too fucking aggressive. That's just bullshit. You need to take the lead and you need to have an aggressive discipline about you, because that's how you're going to succeed in life. And that's where you're going to go places when you have aggressive discipline. I have a whole podcast episode on. And sometimes it's straight up laziness, because no matter how driven you are, there are parts of your brain that are lazy, right? We all have that lazy part of us that we used to either indulge in a lot or a little, but it's always still there, like sitting on the couch, scrolling on our phone. That little voice is in our head. It's there. The problem is you're not challenging these voices. You are not saying no. You are just letting and you are conforming to the voice to allow it to change and dictate your physical outcome or your external environment. And they assume if I'm thinking it, it must be true. That's not how it works. Discipline starts when you learn to observe your thoughts instead of obeying them, instead of conforming to what the world has told you about who you're supposed to be. That's complete and utter horseshit. That voice that's telling you to quit the workout early, that's not wisdom, that's resistance from the doubt and the small voices. The voice telling you you're too busy to improve, that's not reality, that's avoidance of getting better and improving yourself. For example, if you know that you should go to the gym, that little voice says, "Oh, I don't want to do it. I'm too tired. I didn't get enough sleep last night." Just go and fucking do it anyway because if you get up and go and do it, you're going to fucking feel so much better. Mentally, physically, biologically, whatever the fuck. You are going to feel better. And strong men don't eliminate these voices because if you ignore the voices, right, and you can be a very resilient person, you can ignore them, you can push them down. You need to outgrow their authority. You need to let them be there, but keep them caged, right? You have to confront your demons. You cannot let your demons consume you and just fester inside of you because if you do that, you're going to become possessed by this negativity, this irrationality. And moving on to more of the modern generational problem, we live in the noisiest generation in human history, social media, electronics, all that kind of thing, right? We have podcasts like this, some good, some bad. YouTube, opinions, comparison, trends, hot takes. And we are consuming this content daily. We're swiping because it's easy. It's at the touch of a button, a touch of our fingertips. It's at our fingertips. Everyone always has something to say about how you should live, train, think, feel, earn, and behave. A very common thing that I hear is that men should do X, Y, and Z. Specifically, they should be passive, but they should always be obedient, but they shouldn't be too masculine, but they should be feminine. And it's like, what the fuck are we doing here? You either make up your mind, you're either one way or the other. You're not both. You can't be both. I think you can be masculine and still be an understanding human being and not be an asshole to people. But at the same time, you got to take what's yours. Okay. And you got to take authority, actionable authority over your life. Clarity does not come from consuming more information. Clarity does not come from consuming more information. Clarity comes from removing those distractions. Because once you're in your own mind, even though you'll still hear those thoughts, you will have so much more mental clarity, and that'll benefit you in the physical and external. Focusing in on discipline a little bit more, discipline is choosing the big voice over the small voice and finding that clarity. This is where the discipline really shows up, is really apparent. Discipline is this ability to hear both of the voices, but choose the bigger one. Because the small voice in our mind says, sleep in, you need to skip the work, you deserve the comfort. Which you don't deserve the comfort, you shouldn't skip the work and you should not sleep in. The voice says, do it anyway, honor your commitment, your word, whatever that is, to yourself, to others around you that you love. Become who you said you would. Follow fucking through on your promise to yourself and don't let yourself down, man. I hate when I see this. I see so many people I know, people I don't know. They want to amount to something great. They want to amount to something more than when they're at in their life. It's just sad because then they get in a depressive state and then the world tells them they can't do it because it's too ambitious. I think it's so stupid. And it's like, what the fuck are we doing here? We're not developing leaders and we're not developing the next generation properly. And this is coming from someone who's 22 years old, about to turn 23. It doesn't even matter. Our generation is going to have to change the world. Our generation is going to have to become stronger. Our generation is going to have to become leaders. And we're going to have to become more fucking aggressive too. I'm done with the passivity, not just in men, but just in everybody. And this big voice is not begging, it doesn't negotiate, and it doesn't explain itself. It just says execute and go. You take one step and then you take another step. You don't think about taking the step or think about whether you're going to take the step or not going to take the step. You just do it. If you walk forward looking behind you, you're going to trip all the time. Right? Think about that analogy for a second. And every time you listen to it, to that big voice, something powerful, strong happens in your mind. Your self respect grows. Masculinity isn't about dominance over others necessarily, it's about dominance over yourself, specifically the small voices that are creating doubtful thoughts and doubtful premonitions in your mind. And when you decide to go with the big voice over the small voice, you trust yourself more, you hesitate less, and you actually move with this fucking conviction that people notice. Not just you, but others around you notice. You have this like quote unquote glow, but with passion, motivation, and drive. That's what clarity is. And where does this clarity come from? It comes from action, like we talked about, taking the step. A lot of men are stuck today because of this, because they think clarity comes before action, and really it doesn't. Clarity comes after movement. You have to do the thing in order to understand why you're doing it sometimes, actually, most of the times. You don't think your way into confidence, you act your way into it. You have to put yourself in uncomfortable positions, which people are unwilling to do, especially my age, and because that's what it takes. If you want to have something, if you want to do something you've never done before, you're going to have to do something you've never even tried before. You're going to have to put yourself in very, very uncomfortable situations. Life is a struggle and it's supposed to be that way. And when you get through that struggle, it feels so good. You don't wait to feel ready. You just fucking jump. You jump into the abyss and you fucking go. Because the men who are most confused about this are often the ones doing the least, not following through, not holding themselves to these daily standards, these daily routines they need to execute. And action cuts through this mental fog that we have. For example, training sharpens the mind, work creates direction in our life, and consistency builds your identity. You need to stop waiting for motivation. You do. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting to feel like it because if you wait till it feels right, you may not get that opportunity. You need to take the opportunity right now and you just need to fucking go with it. Because if you don't, no one will ever accomplish anything. You won't accomplish anything. And someone else is going to get that opportunity. Here's the uncomfortable truth about all of this there is no finish line where the voices disappear forever. They are everlasting throughout your entire life. No matter what it is relationships, family, your job, your hobbies, your vocation it doesn't matter. You're still going to have those voices there. There is no level where the discipline in your life becomes automatic and effortless because your job is never done as a creator, a leader, an athlete, a student. And that's not a flaw. That's the responsibility of being a human being, and that's the responsibility of being a man. Every day, you need to wake up and choose will I listen to the small voices, or will I act in alignment with who I'm becoming? Clarity isn't permanent, it's something you earn daily through that discipline. And the men who understand that, they don't panic when things feel hard. They don't crumble when the motivation dips because you're going to lose the motivation. You're going to stay grounded, you're going to stay focused, and you're going to stay dangerous. And if you're going to take anything away from this episode, let it be this. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more advice from podcasts and books. You don't need more validation. You need clarity. And clarity comes from silence, discipline, action, and the small voices are always going to be there. They don't get to make the decisions. You get to make the decisions. You decide who to listen to. You decide what kind of person, man, you want to become. You decide whether the job gets done. It's as simple as that. And as always, guys, since you're listening to this, it means you're still in the fight. It means you're still here. It means you're still alive. So keep shutting out the noise, lock in on what truly matters in your life, and keep showing up, not only for others around you, but most importantly, yourself. Because at the end of the day, your job is not done. This has been episode 15 of the Job Not Done podcast. If this episode helped you, share it with someone who needs it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.